security and the promising mediation efforts currently led by His Royal Majesty Otumfo Osei Tutu II, the Asante Hene. A brief about the background to the current happenings in Boku. Boku, historically a vibrant hub of coexistence and commerce, anchored by its central market established in 1858, has long symbolized our interconnectedness, drawing together diverse ethnic groups and fostering trade across our borders with Burkina Faso, Togo, and Niger. The unilateral establishment of a parallel market by a segment of the Kusasi community, following the regrettable resurgence of violence in 2021, citing unfounded claims of insecurity in the Mamprugu-dominated central market, has unfortunately introduced grave security challenges. Now, while we recognize the inherent right of every citizen or every community to pursue its economic activities in safety, the consequences arising from the creation of this parallel market have been deeply troubling. Elements within the Kusasi youth have, with gross impunity, engaged in acts of intimidation and coercion with intent to deny access to the Kusasi market to individuals they wrongly perceive as Mamprusis or their allies. Indeed, the tragic killing of a 6-month-old Busanga baby, whose grandmother went with her to the Kusasi market to purchase vegetables, underscores the climate of hostility that has festered for a long time around the Kusasi market. Disturbingly, this aggression has extended beyond ethnic profiling to levels that can best be described as domestic terrorism. These same Kusasi youth have forcibly prevented their own Kusasi kin, members of other ethnic groups, and international traders, particularly from Burkina Faso, Niger, and Togo, from accessing the established Boku Central Market, which provides revenue to the state. These blatant acts of economic blockade and ethnic targeting, often occurring in plain sight of law enforcement officers along critical routes like the Boku-Bolga-Pulimakom Road and the Boku-Kulungungu International Road, points a disturbing picture of a breakdown in law and order and safety. And that is very unfortunate. If the intent, that is the intent of creating the parallel market, the Kusasis, was to create space for commerce, it would be a matter of communal choice. However, the forceful redirection by Kusasi youth of traffic destined for the Boku Central Market and the subsequent targeting of those who patronize it, even under armed military escort, are unequivocally criminal acts of banditry and then terrorism. Attempts by the Ghana Police Service to restore order and ensure freedom of movement along the Boku-Bolga-Pulimakom International Road by preventing attacks and harassment of innocent citizens have been met with violent resistance by the Kusasi youth, tragically resulting in the loss of life. The subsequent coordinated armed attacks by Kusasi youth on multiple police installations, including the burning of the residence of the divisional police commander, sections of the Boku police barracks, the Binduri police post, and the attacks on the Pusiga police station, as well as the residences of honorable members of parliament, Honorable Mahama Ayerga and Honorable Nadi to public infrastructure are acts that demand the strongest condemnation. Unfortunately, we are yet to see a single condemnation of these acts of terrorism from the Kusasi leadership and their political class, like Honorable Ayerga, Honorable Avoka, and the rest of the members of parliament in the Boko area. They are silent. None of them is bold enough to condemn these acts of terrorism. Following the above violent acts of domestic terrorism by the Kusasi youth, because they have come out to own up and say they are those committing these acts of terrorism, the Inspector General of Police visited Boko, and in what can be best described as bizarre, he apologized to the Kusasis, the same people who attacked and vandalized several police and state installations. Furthermore, the IGP refused to visit Mamprugu, who are key stakeholders in this matter. This biased conduct of the IGP and the cowardly unprofessional conduct of apologizing to criminals has emboldened the Kusasi youth to perpetuate more crime. They went, and when I say they, I mean the Kusasi youth, because they have actually accepted that they are those doing this. They went on rampage, attacking and killing innocent Mamprugus in the Binduri district. Their ungodly criminal activities climaxed on the afternoon of April 13, 2025, when they ambushed and killed 2 police officers in the Binduri district. The mark of a good leader is having the best interest of the people he leads. But to throw the sacrifices of the men in uniform to the dogs just to appease what the former police sitraps describe as Kusasi banditry smacks of incompetence and professional negligence on the part of the Inspector General of Police. Indeed, we are reliably informed that almost all the policemen stationed at districts like Binduri, Pusga have all been recalled to the Divisional Police Command in Boko, simply because of threats by Kusasi youth, emboldened by the pleas of the IGP. We have cited a police memo from the Upper East Regional Police Command issuing a ban on the movement of police personnel to Boko. This development paints a bleak outlook of the security of the area. We would like to extend our deepest condolences to the government and families of the deceased police officers. We commend His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for his forthright description of these acts as criminal vandalism of state property. It is our considered view that the Kusasi youth were emboldened by the unfortunate apology issued by the IGP to them for their acts of violence and terrorism against the state of Ghana. They have done that to several citizens, innocent citizens, and they now feel emboldened to attack the state. And all the IGP could do was to go and apologize to them. We urge the police and all security agencies to heed the clear directive from the president that these acts are acts of criminal vandalism of state property, and ensure that the perpetrators of these dastardly acts face the full force of the law. Unfortunately, instead of confronting these bandits and terrorists, the security has folded up in Boko. They have all folded up, and the media is silent. All the police forces have folded up and they have gone back to the Divisional Police Command. Instead of confronting armed bandits and terrorists, they have emboldened over the year, they have folded up. And then Ghanaians shouldn't be silent to this, because that is how terrorism creeps. It starts at an area where you think that it does not involve you, it does not touch you. By the time you realize, it creeps to your very homes and then your very roofs, deep inside your rooms. So Ghanaians should be very concerned. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, these events, the acts of banditry and terrorism, have regrettably led to the suspension of armed security escorts on the Boku-Bolgatanga Highway, which is a critical international trade route linking Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Togo. The ensuing disruption has stranded commuters and goods. Paralyzed economic activity, and it risks damaging Ghana's regional and diplomatic trade relations. Today, if you are in the Boko Township, you cannot travel to Bolgatanga because these youth, these Kusasi youth, have taken control over the roads. The roads that you and I pay our taxes for the government to construct and then build. Bandits have taken control over these roads, and citizens cannot travel on that road. And the state is quiet. In addition, the actions of the Kusasis have directly been aimed at making public institutions like the Boku Presby Hospital, the Boku Presby Nurses and Midwifery College, the Ghana Commercial Bank, and the Agricultural Development Bank dysfunctional and permanently closed. That is what they want. If you own a country or if you own a town, do you wish that these critical state infrastructure be closed permanently? Just like the Boku Central Market, the Kusasi say all these critical state infrastructure are located within the territory of the Mamprugu. Hence, there are untiring and determined efforts to render these state institutions permanently closed. Their actions are akin to the biblical story of dividing the baby into two, which ultimately leads to the death of the baby. That is what they want. We therefore urge the state to act with urgency to restore the functioning of roads and these critical state infrastructure. The state cannot sit idly and watch these errant Kusasi youth spit in the face of law and order, threatening lives and property. After doing all these acts of banditry and terrorism, and against the backdrop of the escalating chaos, we find it utterly unacceptable that certain Kusasi groups have again, with impunity, still sought to exploit the situation, even after their acts of terror, by issuing an ultimatum during the Inspector General of Police's visit, demanding the arrest of Boko Naba Nashiriga and Haji Seidu Abagri. After committing all these acts of terrorism, they are trying to use these acts of terrorism as a blackmail to get the state security to do what they want, which they are claiming without that one there will never be peace for them. For the sake of clarity, Nashiriga is the respected chief of Boku, duly esteemed by His Royal Majesty the Nairi Nabwaga Mahami Abdullah Shiriga. His Royal Majesty the Nairi has been the legitimate kingmaker and enskinning authority of the Boku skins since 1721, and he has been the overlord of the entire Boku area since the 1200s and the 1300s, since the demise of Nagbewa. In that regard, Nashiriga is the 15th Boku Naba the Nairi has escaped. It is evident that the Kusasi youth thrive in banditry and seek to blackmail the government by first engaging in lawless acts with impunity and then making such outrageous and baseless demands. The preceding acts of violence, the destruction of police installations, and the murder of 2 police officers are undoubtedly a calculated precursor to this untenable demand for the arrest of Nashiriga Alhaji Saidu Abagre. The point must be made unequivocally and abundantly clear that the demand by these Kusasi youth who have turned themselves into terrorists, attacking critical state infrastructure and state institutions, is unfounded and illegal and a deliberate attempt to incite further unrest. Boku Nashiriga Alhaji Saidu Abagre is an indigene of Boku. He was born and raised in Boku. His father was born and raised in Boku. His grandfather born and raised in Boku. All his ancestors born and raised in Boku, with a lineage rooted in Boku since the establishment of the town. The town Boku was founded by Nashiriga's forefathers, and any call for his removal or arrest is not only a grave injustice and a violation of his fundamental human rights, but a dangerous attempt to exile a man from his ancestral home in this current democratic dispensation. Is it right? No. Somebody born and bred in the town, his father born and bred in the town, his grandfather's born and bred in the town. Then you sit somewhere and say he should be removed from the town. Furthermore, this matter is not subject to public opinion or tribal sentiments. It is a matter of settled law. Nashiriga was previously the subject of an arrest warrant, which he rightfully challenged through the established legal channels, ultimately securing a unanimous ruling in his favor from the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal declared the arrest warrant as illegal. You issue an arrest warrant on someone, the state issued an arrest warrant on the person they said they should arrest. But Nashiriga did not fight. His people did not fight against the state. Even the state issued an arrest warrant against his father, the Nairi. But what did Nashiriga and his people do? They accepted that we live in a democratic dispensation. They took the matter to the High Court first, and the High Court ruled against them. Then they took the matter to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal ruled in his favor unanimously. In all of that, you now leave that and say the state should still go and then arrest that person. And all of you here know how difficult it is to litigate in Ghana here. Very expensive, aside that very emotional. If you are not emotionally strong, you cannot litigate in Ghana. Then somebody goes through this litigation, gets to the Court of Appeal, the case is thrown out unanimously, then you sit back and then say the state should go and arrest the same person. In today's Ghana. We are waiting out. So the decision that the appeals court gave unanimously is binding in law. Any attempt by the police or government to act upon this discredited warrant that the Kusasi seek to evoke would constitute a gross injustice and a direct assault of the rule of law. Now, what is particularly troubling is that the demand for this unfortunate demand comes at a critical juncture when mediation efforts are underway. The Otunfo Asante is currently trying to mediate the Boku crisis to find a lasting solution to the problem. And at this critical time, this is the demands that these Kusasi youth are putting. And what they are doing, it shows that they lack sincerity, and then they cannot make us feel that they are interested in mediating. The ultimatum from the Kusasi youth is a clear affront to the process of the mediation which is being spearheaded by Otunfo Asante Hene, revealing a lack of commitment from them to peace, and instead signaling a strategy of ethnic exclusion and provocation. It is a direct violation of the admonition of the Asante Hene, who has called for cessation of hostilities as he navigates the path towards finding lasting peace. While Mamprusis have not acted in contravention of this admonition, the Kusasis have engaged in various acts of violence and banditry against innocent people in Binduri and Kuyoko, killing over 40 Mamprusis in the process. Since the Asantehene called for a cessation to hostilities, you are mediating. You said both factions should cease hostilities, and one faction continues to kill up to 14 people. We therefore, as the Mamprugu Youth Association, say that 1, we reject outright any call to arrest Nasheriga Alhaji Seidu Abagre. This would amount to an egregious injustice, contempt of court, a violation of a binding court ruling, and a breach of the fundamental human rights of Nasheriga Alhaji Seidu Abagre. 2, we call on the media and all stakeholders to desist from lumping all Boku youth in this act of terrorism committed by the Kusasi youth. The facts show that it is the Kusasi youth who are engaged in these acts of violence against the state, and they have actually publicly accepted this. So there is absolutely no need, as you leave here today, we implore you to stick to the facts. It is the Kusasi youth who are fighting against the state. 3, we call upon the government and the Ghana Police Service to steadfastly uphold the rule of law and not yield to threats and unlawful demands emanating from the Kusasi youth. 4, we humbly implore His Majesty Otumfo Asantehene Osei-Tutu II, the esteemed mediator, to take due note of this escalating pattern of aggression and bad faith exhibited by the Kusasis, which continues to undermine the prospects for a smooth mediation and a peaceful resolution of this matter. 5, we demand the immediate resumption of armed escorts or armed security escorts on the Boku Bolgatanga Pulimakum Road and the Boku Kulugumu Road to restore free movement of people and goods and to safeguard livelihoods that are currently under severe threat. We have told you that as of today, for the past 2 weeks, nobody can travel from Boku to Bolga. And that should be an issue of concern. If you push people to a war, you don't want to see the consequences of that. 6, we call on all citizens to stand firm against intimidation and ethnic profiling and to defend the fundamental principles of justice and peaceful coexistence that are the bedrock of our nation. 7, we urge the government to remain impartial in the Boku chieftaincy conflict and to refrain from any action that could compromise the delicate peace process. This is fundamentally a chieftaincy issue, and the ongoing mediation led by Otumfo Osei-Tutu II must be allowed to proceed without external interference. Any attempt by the state to take sides or act outside the agreed framework risks exacerbating the crisis and eroding trust among all parties. It is the strategy of the Kusasis to use this violence to put pressure on the state, and then the mediator, Asantehene, to think that there are those in the majority, there are those who are power, then they will rule in their favor. That is the strategy, and we are bringing it to light here. 8, we call on state actors, and most recently the police, to desist from paying attention to only one party of the conflict, specifically the Kusasis, and kowtowing to their every demand. This is a dangerous precedent and must be stopped. 9, we view the conduct of the IGP before the Kusasis in Boku as a grave error in judgment and exposes the ill advice he might have received prior to his visit to Boku. His apology severely erodes the confidence of the men in uniform in the Boku area, thereby exposing them to further attacks by these Kusasi youth. It is akin to rewarding lawlessness and banditry to the neglect of the men and women who have left the comfort of their families and are serving to protect life and property in our dear nation. We therefore believe, it is our considered view, that the IGP must step aside to cleanse the image of the service he has soiled, to assure these young officers that their lives matter. As of now, I've told you, the police have fled and left the area. They have all run and entered into the Divisional Police Command, simply because bandits have been emboldened by the action of the IGP. We, the Mamprugu youth, are sending a clear and resolute message to government and the wider public. We have consistently heeded the wise counsel of our king, the Nairi, who has tirelessly advocated. The Nairi has tirelessly advocated for peaceful coexistence and urged restraint in the face of provocation. However, it has become increasingly apparent that past and present administrations have inadvertently, or we can say advertently, incentivized disruptive behavior by seemingly prioritizing the interests of one group, and that is the Kusasis, over the principles of truth and justice. We, when I say we, that is the people of Mamprugu, we will not stand idly by while a group with no legitimate claim attempts to destabilize our community and impede progress in the community.
No way. No. There is no way. It can never happen.
The leadership of the Mamprugu youth is finding it increasingly challenging to restrain our members, who are understandably growing restless and prepared to defend their heritage and their people within the confines of the law. Within the confines of the law. Today you are in Boku and then you cannot travel to Bolga. If you want to seek for medical care, you cannot travel. Foodstuffs you cannot bring inside Boku. In today's Ghana, people pay their taxes. People contribute to the development of the country. Just because some bandits have taken ransom, taken everybody to ransom. And when you are to describe it, you don't say those bandits, you rather say it is everybody in Boku. Our allegiance to the Nairi and Boku Nasheriga is unwavering. Any attempt to remove Nasheriga, as wrongly advocated by the Kusasis, or any action that seeks to undermine the authority of the Nairi will be met with full and unified resolve of the Mamprugu youth. Our commitment is absolute, and our patience should not be mistaken for a weakness.
Not at all. Not at all.
The majority of the youth of Boku, namely the Mamprusis and our allies, possess the inherent capacity to defend ourselves against such acts of banditry and terrorism by the Kusasi youth, who have not spared.
They know us better.
Who have not spared even the state security apparatus. They have not spared the state security. However, our respect for law and order remains paramount in our engagement with security agencies. We therefore urge law enforcement to be firm and decisive in maintaining law and order in their approach to maintaining peace within the Boku traditional area, ensuring that no individual or group is treated above the law. Let us all remember that lasting peace is not forged through intimidation, and justice must be applied equitably. The Mamprugu Youth Association remains committed to peace, but that peace must be built upon a foundation of truth, justice, and the unhindered freedom for all people to engage in commerce and community life without fear or coercion. Thank you, and may God bless His Royal Majesty the Nairi May God bless Nashinga and Haji State of Agri. May God bless Boku. May God bless Mamprugu. And may God bless our cherished nation, Ghana. Thank you very much.
Okay, Doc, please let me come in. I want to just, before the questions, please, is CTV here? Oh. What of TV3? What of when you talk, please, I need some clarity. If you can just tell me. I need some clarity. Please, you invite them, TV3.
Let's finish, please. Let's finish. We can handle any other.
No, but it's important because the media is one of the reasons why
the media is here.
The media is here.
The media is
Okay, we have presented your views. It's okay. Yes. We have presented your views. That's fine. So, Os, you can come in.
Yes. I think we've not given Dr. Issa a loud clap enough.
That is a fact.
We joined the police in the military from Boko.
Let's
do one at a time.
When the processes are active.
I urge us to have order.
Yes.
Just like we have been described as people with enough patience. We are people of patience. So let's be patient and make sure that the media men we have invited here will carry out the message that we have just delivered. We are being patient in the hall. We are being patient in the hall.
Not outside. Wow.
The Mamprugu Youth Association is presenting facts, and then we urge our media men to always interrogate the matter. Boku, as we speak, has been divided in two fronts. So anytime they say Boku Youth, we have a lot of tribes that are inhabited in Boku. So when the IGP visits one side, and that is the Kusasi youth, we urge the media to make it known to Ghanaians that this is the Kusasi youth. And they are those perpetrating crime and trying to destabilize the peace of this country. Not only Boku, just like our presenter said, if the state doesn't nip this in the bud, anytime they say there is an action, comes a reaction. And that is what we don't want to see. We don't want to undermine Ashanti-Hini's mediation process. We are a people of a royal lineage, and we understand what royalty is all about. So that does not mean that there cannot be a reaction anytime there's an action. So at this juncture, I would like to invite the media men who have questions for further interrogations for Dr. Issa to continue. Thank you.
So you kindly just mention your name and then your media house.
Dr. Issa.
Yes.
Ebenezer, Daily Guide. So you made a number of demands, I think about 9 of them. Beyond this, what are you going to do? And are there any timelines? These demands that you've made, you made mention that President John Mahama has condemned this act of violence occurring in Boku. So beyond this press conference, what's next?
So our brother from Daily Guide asked whether beyond this press conference, what do we do? We have told you here that we have been patient over this while. This conflict started in the year 2021. And all the troubles we are talking about today, it didn't start today. The killing of security men started far back. In 2021, they attacked the military intelligence vehicle in Boku and then burnt it. From then, they killed policemen, they shot at 3 military men, killed a soldier, killed an immigration officer. All these things happened. The blockage of the international route has been happening since 2021. And we have engaged the state. This is not the first press conference we have done on this. But we told the state that if you continuously pamper these people, it will reach a particular level that they will turn their guns at you. And they didn't listen to us. But we engaged them. And finally, this is what they are doing. It is the Kusasi youth now against the state. They have put us at one side now. They don't want to touch us. They are now fighting the state itself. All is because the state did not hear the concerns we were giving them. And unfortunately, they gave a media blackout. Most of the media stations here, you would confess. If you have to talk to someone from Boku, you talk to only the Kusasis. You don't talk to the Mamprugus. They blacked us out. So our concerns were not heard. And those are the results you are seeing there. If they are fighting the police in Boku, you don't know when they would fight here. So the concerns we have raised here, we are not people who come and give deadlines and timelines. We just use words like urgent. And every sane person, every person who thinks, would know that if today the police can evacuate and leave critical areas in Boku, then the agency should even be with that, and the time to act should be even within the next minute, not to wait for someone to tell you that they should give you a deadline. So we have brought our concerns here. We are peaceful people. Our people don't want to react to what they are doing. We think that we should use these means to get our concerns heard. And it behoves on you, the media, to get these concerns to the state. We also want to see if we can engage the state authorities. You see that the IGP went to Boku. He didn't come to us. How can you come? So how do you hear our concerns? You understand? They will try and then engage them. We have met previously some ministers. I don't want to mention their names. We have met them. They have given us audience. But when we talk sometimes, they think that we are doing tribalism or we are speaking for our people. But to be honest with you, if you go and take your time and look at what is in our document and what we have, do you think it is for us? It is for the state. Because individuals cannot take up arms against the state, and you want all of us to be quiet. Simply because we are Mamprugus, we cannot speak. So I think that we don't have timelines. We have done our part. We'll continue to make sure that Ghanaians get to know the truth about what is happening. It is on the state and on you, the media. When you go, you report that the police have evacuated from Binduri. They have evacuated from Pusga. The police has written a memo, and they have issued that all their soldiers, all their forces, they shouldn't go out and be roaming. They should all come to the Divisional Police Command. These are issues Ghanaians need to know. And know that if it is happening in Boku, don't think Boku is far. That is how it started. That is how Boko Haram started. And then Nigeria is where it is today. I hope I've answered you. Good. Any other questions?
So, Elijah, what are the possible...
Your name and then...
also from a Ghanaian Democrat.
Ghanaian Democrat.
Yeah, what are the possible pathways so that you can achieve peace and reconciliation? Can you tell us?
Yes.
Your suggestions, the pathways to peace and reconciliation, because you are living together in one community.
Thank you very much. The name again? Owusu from the Daily Democrat.
Ghanaian Democrat.
Ghanaian Democrat is asking what we think is our view to making sure that we have lasting peace in the area. So there are two approaches, and that is what actually the government has taken, and we don't have a problem with that. We accept what the government is doing. Just that we want to always re-echo that it should be done with fairness. And fairness is common to everybody. If you end up doing something that is not fair, even the, excuse my language, the idiot sitting down will know this is not fair. So we have faith in the state institution. They have given the chieftaincy aspect of the conflict to the Otunfo, and we are participating. Okay? That is to solve the main problem, which is the key issue that these sides have been fighting. So we are in support of Otumfo's mediation efforts. We believe that if we engage each other, we can bring lasting solution. But unfortunately, the Otumfo said that all sides should cease hostilities. But the Kusasis have not accepted that. Since the Otumfo said that they have killed about 14 people, attacked state institutions, police and all that. So you can see that and I have actually heard some of their leaders saying that they don't want Otumfo's mediation process. But we think that, look, the mediation process is very important. Boko is our home. We cannot run and leave Boko. We should mediate and live peacefully. That is one. That is for the long term. But the immediate term is for the government to know that you and I, Kusasi, Mamprugu, Ewe, Ashanti, all of us are under the state. And no individual has the right to take up arms against the state. If the state cannot confront these bandits and then these terrorists, then I can bet you, God forbid, as our locals say, if the terrorists move from southern Burkina Faso and then enter into Ghana, all of us will run into the sea. But we are not even waiting for them to come from southern Burkina. They are already in Ghana with us in Boko. The acts they are doing is terrorism. So in the meantime, the state should move, and we actually said it here. You can't have people living in Boko and they can't travel to Bolga. It's actually bad. So the state should move in and make sure that they have a dedicated, escorted system that would secure the lives of people to move in and out. If people move in and out, then critical state institutions like the hospitals, the banks are working gradually, peace would return. So that should be an immediate thing, rather than the state security folding up and then running away. If they run away, if the crime is going to expand, it will reach them wherever they are. And that is what we do. And they should confront it. Yes. I hope I've answered you. Yes. Any other question? Yes. Your name and then.
My name is Nuruddin from Gumah Fm.
Okay.
Far away in Boko. During your presentation, I heard you refer to the area as Boko traditional area. I've also cited members of the government and members of the security referring to the place as Kusak traditional area. So sometimes we are confused as media people.
Silence, please.
So sometimes we get confused as media people. At one time they say Boko traditional area, another time they say Kusak traditional area. So we want to find out,
okay,
where can we cross-check to be able to, because we know that we live in a country of laws.
Yes.
To where can we find out where we can get the appropriate title for the name of the area, whether it's Kusak traditional area or Boko traditional area?
So this is a critical question. The name of the area is Boko traditional area, and that is what it has been known. Boko, the town has been established, and the name of the town is Boko. If you look at Syme's book, Syme would tell you that the name of the town is Boko, and it was named Boko in Mamprugu language by the founders who are Mamprusis. So the name is Boko. But unfortunately, because our adversaries think that they want to take over the town, they want to change the name of every institution in the town so that we don't have Boko again. They have come up with Kusak. Nobody, the media, the government, they have been misled into thinking that the name of the traditional area is Kusak. It is false. It is not. Actually, what is in the legislative instrument, LI 240, you can go and check. That is the name of the instrument. It is Boko traditional area, not Kusak traditional area. But unfortunately, the government and the media have been confused into thinking that the name of the area is called Kusak traditional area. It is not. Ghana, we are bounded by laws, and the name of the town or the traditional area is Boko traditional area, as can we control the? Yeah. As captured in LI 2409. You can go and then look at it. Thank you.
That's why the peaceful thinking, the people and the politicians who do not want to see peace in Boko.
Yes.
Yes.
So sister is saying that Sister Ajara Amandi is saying that the targets or the attempts to change the name of the town or the traditional area is the wishful thinking of some politicians and then some Kusasis, which would never come, because truth is one. And then in the document itself, the LI, it is Boko traditional area. But you go and then you are massaging yourself and say that the place is called Kusak traditional area. And the government buys into it, and then the media buys into it without any interrogation. Yes. We'll take one or two more. Yes, so somebody is asking to know. I don't want us to digress from the main purpose.
Yes.
The main purpose of this press conference is to let Ghanaians just know the current issues in Boko. As for the historical antecedents, we have mentioned that over and over. The word Cossack, okay, as attempted, they tried to smuggle it only in 2020. You can't say you have a kingdom and it's only in 2020 you can have Cossack. Nobody knew of Cossack. What people knew was Kusasi. That is what has been captured in most documents from the colonial times up to today. The word Cossack is just a creation. And if you look at kingdoms in Ghana, you have Asante, you have Mamprugu, you have Dagbon, you have Nanu, you have Gonjalan and all that. So they are also sitting down and thinking they want to create a kingdom, and they said, okay, the best way to use is Cossack. It is not found in any dictionary in Ghana. So, but all these things are done to incite ignorant youth. Most of the people don't know the history. So they incite them and say they have their own kingdom. And now they said they even want a Cossack region. All these things are done to incite people. And it is their politicians who have emboldened them with this.
Yes.
That is why they are attacking them. They've gone to attack Honorable Mama Herga. They vandalized his house. Honorable Ladi, they've gone to vandalize her house. And even TV3 reported that she was attacked and shot. Okay? So the name of the traditional area is Boko Traditional Area. That has existed since the founding of the town. We'll take one or two more. I think I saw a hand here. Yes, you can come in.
Okay. I'm a youth. You articulated our concern, in an elaborated manner, which we appreciate being here. But my concern here is the military or the security apparatus are very much, afraid to work in the town. And here is a case, as you elaborated our concern regarding the banks not working, which is very critical, like the ADB, the commercial bank. So I will plead with you to convey the message, our message once again through the media to the government, that we have the men who are chartered accountants. They are ready to work in Boku. Yes. If the workers, the bankers are not comfortable to work, just that the military, the police having to move from Pushga and wherever and come to the regional head office, the regional headquarters in Boku, we can provide them the men to work in the meantime, especially within the banks or in the banks, so that at least activities will take place. So our plea through you to government is that we have the men who can work on our behalf, so that at least in the...
Thank you very much. I think this point is well made. You can't have this critical state infrastructure and they are not working, simply because some people think that they can control and take over the town. That is the terrorism we are talking about. So it is on you, the media, when you go, you report these facts as we have told you, and let people know that there is no way government should sit down and watch this happen. If it can happen in Boku tomorrow, you don't know where to start. Because people get emboldened when they see that if they start violence, they will get whatever they want. So if you allow it to pass in Boku, you don't know other people in other parts of the country who can start. So we'll take one more, and then I would invite Uncle Ahmed Audu Guma to come and give us the closing remarks, and then we would close from here so that you can go and report. Any question? If there's no question, Uncle Audu, you can give us the closing remarks. Then we'll take a prayer and then
So let's go.
No, like sometimes in the feeling like that, they always
thank you very much. Thank you very much, and let me thank all the media houses for taking time to come and listen to us, and then to also learn about what is going on in Boku. From the press conference, the statement.
please attention.
From the statement, it's very apparent that Boku is the state of anarchy because the state has failed to act on acts of banditry and terrorism. And we have to make this clear so that Ghanaians will be aware of what is going on in Boku. and then also draw the attention of the government that there's a need for action to address these issues. As like my predecessor mentioned in the press statement, it's now difficult for people to move from Boku to Bolga and from Bolga to Boku and even the other routes to Burkina Faso and to Togo because of the activities of these bandits, And we Mamprushis, we are law-abiding, and we trust on the military and the security agencies to be able to make the road safe, for people to be able to commit and carry out their activities, without any hindrance. We count on the military to do that. We can do it ourselves. We can make sure that we can escort our people to Boku and back. We can do it, and nobody can come and stop us from escorting our people. But because the military is there, and we know that's the duty of the military and the security agencies, we have allowed them to do that. And so I want to put on record that we Mamprushis are capable of defending ourselves. We are capable of escorting vehicles from Boku to Bolga, from Boku to Pulmakom, from Boku to Gulgum. We are capable of doing that, but we are not doing so because of the presence of the military. And so we want government to pay more attention to these issues and then assert itself. I mean, Ghana is well known for peacekeeping all over the world. If our army and our security agencies can keep peace in hot places like Lebanon, in other places all over the world, why can't they keep peace in Boku? This small place. I mean, why can't our security people keep peace in Boku? Why? Why is it that military are escorting people from Boku to Bolga or vice versa, and Kusasi youth will attack the military escorts, and the military cannot fire back, the military cannot do anything, cannot take any action against them. So these are the issues, and we think that we want to get the government to understand this issue. And the Ghanaian public, Boku was founded by Mamprushis in 1721. We founded the town, and we named it Boku. Boku is a Mamprushi word, and that's why if you go to Boku, the Mamprushis are in the center of the town. That was where the town started. And even the Moshis and the Bisas were there. They came even much earlier before the Kusasis. So that's why you find in Boku town, you find the Mamprushi quarter, you find the Moshi area, you find the Bisa area, even the houses were even there before the Kusasis. That is why the Kusasis are in the outskirts. And that is why they are able to mobilize and prevent vehicles from going in and coming out, because they are in the outskirts. They came later to settle there, And so these are facts that we want everybody to know, But we know that there's a mediation process. His Royal Majesty Dasantihini is leading the mediation process, and we respect that process. We have so much faith in that process. We believe that the process will be truthful and transparent and will bring our justice and lead to a final solution of this problem. So we trust in the process, and that is why we want to, we are desisting from carrying acts of violence, trusting that the process will go on and it will eventually lead to a peaceful resolution to the problem. So I want to thank you once again for your presence. We hope that you would be able to give out this information in a very fair and frank manner. The media has been very unsupportive, if I can put it that way. I think you heard people talking about Joy FM and then TV3, very biased reporting, and GTV, very biased reporting. Looks like they have put a blockade on the Mamprushis in Boku or even Mamprugu altogether, and also concentrating on one side. I mean, the media, I think the media can do better, but you people are here. We thank you very much for being here to listen to us and to convey our message to the Ghanaian public. We thank you very much. We hope that you'll be able to do justice to that. I would like on this point to also thank our chiefs for taking time to come and then be with us here. These are our chiefs in Greater. That's not all of them. That's some of them who have been able to come to share with us this moment. And I would like to also express our gratitude to them and to all the teaming Mamprugu youth here who have come to support the process. This is just a fraction of Mamprugu youth in Accra area, because the hall is small. We could have invited everybody. So we want to thank everybody for coming and for making time to listen to us. We hope that you'll be able to relay this message to Ghanaians in a very frank and fair manner. Doctor, I don't know whether there's something else to say.
Yes, so I think
thank you very much.
We'll just call on the man and Tanko to come and give us a closing prayer.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's give a clap. Let's give a clap. Everyone.
It's not man and Tonko, it's Alazi Musa.
Order. Point.
Tella anka nga bashama lumana albarkan. Man jo utuma kachapan lumana za kala dantu. Lumana chaka yetu ashetin shi to akutu bukata. Lumana wala sidati yani na lafiya. Tun ban ya shaka ni alheri zan da bokunu man purgza lumana palin ti. Dumana wodidi na yirfi. Dumana wodidi na yirfi. Woni ya shi anya alheri dumana palbantu. Dumana wanzano yadan nyanga zano badan nyanga kuta papa shama dumana wuta ku canto nan galala dumana malmu bukata kama ta bukata kama Mamprugu za bukata inna allaha wal malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin salatu ala nabiyil karim.